Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. It's Texas versus OU preview. It's OU week, Tran. We're very excited, a lot to tackle. While you're here and you guys check in, your attendance is hitting that like button. It's done wonders for our channel as you guys have picked up the enthusiasm and the participation here. Tran and I are very, very thankful. So if you can do us a favor
Always.
and hit that like button at the beginning, just helps with the algorithm. You know how it goes in the YouTube universe. So, Tran, we got a lot to dive into because we want to touch on, TCU aftermath. It's OU week, number 22 Texas versus now unranked Oklahoma. What does everything look like in Dallas? What does this mean for Tom Herman? But speaking of Tom Herman, actually had a great conversation with RJ Young today.
hmm
So if you guys didn't get a chance to see that live stream on his channel, I'll have the link below. It was really fun doing a OU preview with an OU fan. You guys know how passionate RJ is, and we had a lot of banter and good, just fun conversation back and forth. So I really recommend you guys check that out. But after that, Tran and I, we started doing our prep, finish up dinner. I got Tran started on the boys.
Yeah, you
So
did.
he's watching the boys. We having a conversation about Homelander, like all sorts of stuff. Hey, I have this whole thing where I'm just converting people over to the boys. Jared, if you're watching this video out there, he's one of our subscribers. I converted him over to the boys. He's already he the last episode he got ahead of me.
Oh, okay.
And he
Okay.
watched it. And I put it on to him for like 2 weeks ago. So that's where we're at. But while we were having that conversation and watching things going on in the political sphere and all that good stuff, the Billy Bowman decommitment news drops. Didn't Ryan, uh, athlete, plays both ways, unbelievable prospect, should be and will be a 5-star.
hmm
Tran, your immediate reaction to the news of Billy Bowman's decommitment?
Sucks. I mean, you watch the kid's tape, and it's fantastic. The way he plays the ball on both offensive side and defensive side. The athletes like that don't come around a lot, and we miss out on a lot of them.
Dynamic kicker
And
Turner as well.
it's a blow to our recruiting class this year. Extreme blow to our recruiting class. And it's not like we could just go out and find another one like him. I know people don't pay, they always say don't pay too much attention to the rankings, but there's a reason why he's rated so high.
Mm-hmm.
And you see it on the film. You see it against top end talent within the Texas state. So it's a blow, and it sucks after this week, after dealing with the loss. And you know I wish him luck wherever he goes. Hopefully, we still continue to recruit him, and maybe we can get him to get a second look at us again. By the end of the
Agreed.
season. But
Well, his teammate Tavian Sanders, who is 5-star himself
mhm.
and one of the best high school football players in America, and somebody who I think can be a phenomenal edge rusher and just somebody who can be special um, at the collegiate and potentially the NFL level. What impact will that have on his recruitment and his commitment? Because whenever you have two guys that are high school teammates that are ranked that high and they're, you know, figuring to go play on the same side of the ball in college, it's really concerning. And then on top of that, you hear the news, hey, Billy Bowman's girlfriend goes to OU, and I hate talking about the high school relationships, all that. It's grown men, it's awkward.
Mhm.
However, the importance that it plays to the program and the relationships. Now you hear OU in play. You see Caleb Williams and these guys on Twitter, aggressively pursuing him. So if he ends up, on the other side of this thing as a Sooner, that's disastrous for this program. And it just echoes the importance of this Saturday's game in Dallas, right? What it means for Tom Herman, what it means for this staff to say, you know what, we are going to take control of this conference, and more importantly, we're going to show that we're developing our players properly, because you can't tell me that that doesn't have something to do with that here. And I know I've been beating this drum for a long time on this channel. Guys, I said I made a recruiting video for 2021. I think before COVID, Tran, and I said then Billy Bowman might have his junior tape's one of the best tapes I've ever seen. Like his huddle tape, like was stupid. Was stupid. Like what he was doing on the football field, he was electric. And I think that's actually when I was breaking down the 2020 signing class, and I'm like, y'all need to go look at this brother over here, his junior tape, right? So it's a blow. He was one of my favorite kids we've recruited since I've started doing this channel, and I definitely want the best for the kid and best for him and his family to make the right decision. But player development has to be a part of it. It's a business decision. When you look at Rondell Moore and Keely Ringo and all these guys, Jalen Waddle, and those are the type of guys we've been missing on, though, right? I'm not saying that we don't have athletes in secondary and at wide receiver. It's not my point, but those special guys. I look at Billy Bowman, I call him a chess piece. He's one of those type of players. And so to your point, we have a chance to go back and get a guy like that.
Go do it.
Gotta win.
Yeah, we gotta do it.
Starts with winning. So something we didn't do this week was win. Transitioning to the TCU game. And it sucks, week of a loss, but I want to ask you this. As we transition OU, that's the opponent. I don't care if they're 1-2. I don't care if they're 0-2 in the Big 12. That's who we got to go take out. But coming out of TCU, what was there anything you saw positive or negative on your rewatch that you think plays out over the course of the rest of the season?
So it was good to actually watch the game non-emotionally. The only good, honestly, that I saw out of this game was the offensive game plan. It was actually very, very good. There's certain plays. One play that people don't even talk about. Rewatch it again, and I encourage everyone to rewatch this. Is the touchdown to Eagles. So what they did is it was designed perfectly to get him open. So what he did was it's a dual route where he's reading both the linebacker and also the safety. So he runs a quick curl route, and I think it's Jake Smith that comes over the top for a flag route, and he's watching both the linebacker who's guarding the flats, and also and the safety. If the safety goes with him, he breaks off down the seam route. And that's exactly what happened. It broke off down the seam route. And it's impressive to me that it was designed that way, because Brendan Eagles isn't really known as a route runner. That is more so a Josh Moore route. Joshua Moore. I am so sorry, Miss Moore. Joshua Moore. And thank you for correcting me. Then there was the seam route that got us down to the 12 or something like that for on Ingram's little seam route that was great. I mean, no one was with him, was near him on that little quick pass. Then there was, of course, the quick dig route that Jake Smith had, that he dropped, that he had miles to run in front of him. It was designed perfectly. Then utilizing your personnel. That's one thing that we've knocked the defense on. He actually utilized his personnel within the red zone, and utilized Malcolm F, saying, Malcolm F, you are bigger than everyone. You have the biggest catch radius on the field. We're going to get you the ball. And it got it to the ball where only he could catch it. So I thought the game plan offensively was very good, because we actually should have scored way more points than 29 points. I know we had 31, but I'm not counting the safety, the little safety at the end. So, I mean, we honestly should have scored 42-ish points by my count if it wasn't for us not executing. So that was the good that I saw out of it.
I'm glad you touched on the offense, because there were some great plays that they got. I don't know how many yards they lost from penalties, from like you said, execution errors, because some of the penalties were valid. Like technically, I think it was Christian Jones on the Alvante Woodard RPO, where they called a legal man downfield. Yeah, I think that was Christian Jones. Like technically he was, although they there's so much subjectivity with calls like that, but that's a play where we're right there inside the 5-yard line early in the game. There was a beautiful beater. That's when I was like, yo, Yurcich is figuring some things out against Gary P, because there was a beater that they ran, I think, on 3rd down. I don't remember what down it was, but they hit Ingram on a wheel route out of the backfield. He picked up 60-something yards before he got tackled, and that was a penalty.
That was a penalty as well.
That was a penalty, but it was like a procedural penalty. It wasn't something that actually impacted the play, right? I think Cade Brewer wasn't covered up or something.
He was lined up without checking himself in as a wide receiver.
So, those are huge plays that ultimately affect the outcome of the game, but also you're looking at it moving, like I said, to my question, moving forward, it's like, hey, we have money to be made here offensively. And by the way, as Tom Herman alluded to in this presser, we were struggling with the unit. Like Brendan Eagles was like our one constant who's played all 3 games, I would say consistently, but Jake Smith is coming back, and he's ramping. I think you'll see a much better Jake Smith moving forward in this week. Not that he was bad. I think people think I'm being hard on Jake Smith.
First game rust.
It was his first game rust, right? So he's ramping. Joshua Moore goes down in the middle of the game, does not return. They panic and put Jake Smith on the outside. That doesn't work. So now it's like, okay, Schooler's going to have to play out there, but you got to keep in mind that Schooler is a grad transfer who's only been here for a little bit. They're struggling right now with whatever's going on with Tariq Black. Brendan Eagles has really kind of locked that down and passed him there. And so now their rotation's messed up. This also impacts Sam in terms of the chemistry. Now, I'm not trying to make excuses for Sam not being sharp, missing throws, things of that such. He did have his struggles in the TCU game. However, I think with a little bit more consistency, if they're, at this point, they're able to get a Jordan Whittington back, because this actually takes us into the OU game. When you start getting all these pieces back and we're able to work with each other week over week over week, the consistency will be there, because they are technically learning a lot of these the adaptation of the Yurcich scheme real time. So I agree with you. I thought he dialed up a lot of good stuff that is underrated. They just got to get the execution stuff taken care of. So coming into the OU game, we both watched Oklahoma go down to Iowa State last week. You understand the desperation. You can see it from their fan base. You can see it from Lincoln Riley. They do not want to go 0-3 in the Big 12. This is potentially an elimination game. But I want to start with Texas first. In my opinion, and I think I said this today with RJ, this is the most important game of Tom Herman's career at Texas. Do you agree or disagree with that, Trent?
100% agree. I think every game for the rest of the season is the most important game for Tom Herman this year. He has now not bought himself any leeway, in my book. If he goes to the Big 12 championship, he better win the Big 12 championship. That's my thought. And I know you said that it was a must-win for Oklahoma. It's a must-win for us. We can't go down 1-2 in the Big 12 after we should honestly be 0-3. It's just not a good look, especially with all the talent we have here. All the money we've spent on getting our rock star hires to get the alignments correct, make sure we're sound both defensively and offensively. It's just not a good look. So they need to come in early, prepped, stick with the boys. Little theme that we have going on. Take a double shot of Compound V. Get ready to lay some Sooners out.
I love it. I'm so happy you're watching the boys now. Our friendship has just ascended to another level. So in all seriousness, the comments that we received on the channel after the Tom Herman press conference video that I made, where I just reacted to it, because we normally don't make press conference reactions. We listen, right? Like the vitriol and the frustration in the fan base not from every single person, but just it's time. I mean, it's been a decade. The on paper, right? There's no excuse.
Mm-hmm.
Even with the COVID stuff, I mean, everybody's in the same boat, right? And you know, Baylor, shoot, they have a new coaching staff all the way, right? With David Randa and all those guys coming in there. There's no excuse. When you have Sam Ehlinger, who, yes, through 3 games, 15 touchdowns, and the stats are there. You're leading the nation in offense and points scored per game. Like, they have some skins on the wall, but you should be 1-2. They should have lost the Tech game. And then it's like, with that new life that you got, you lose at home as a double-digit home favorite. And when does that stuff stop at Texas? Does it ever stop under Tom Herman? I think that's the question that is being asked. I think that's a fair question to ask. I'm personally still Team Herman, and I think he can do it. I know he can do it. I do believe that. I really, really can look and feel confident in saying that. But they have to win, and they have to show the development of these kids, even especially on the defensive side of the ball too, with Chris Ash and the decisions and the hires that were made, because it's not going to get easier facing a quarterback like Spencer Rattler. No disrespect to Alan Bowman and Max Duggan, but Spencer Rattler's better than them, especially throwing the football and how he can touch you all over the field. And when you combine that with the unique weapons that they'll have, do I think they outright have a better receiving core than Tech? I wouldn't necessarily say that, because Tech's guys are more proven. Between Eric, Keyshawn, and TJ Vasher, like those three are proven guys, right? But Marvin Mims is going to be special. Stogner, you get now. We're going to see the elite tight end, right? And a physical tight end. They have, I said on RJ's video today, they have the stereotypical chubby H-back that OU always has in Jeremiah Hall. And then they have some other brothers on the outside, right, who fit the OU profile. They haven't broken out yet. But when you look at a Charleston Rambo, who a lot of people thought were going to be first team all Big 12 this year, you look at Theo Weiss, Theo Howard, Drake Stoops, all the amalgamation of all these guys, it's like, all right, like Theo Weiss gets it together, we're in trouble. Like any of these brothers, right? So he has a lot of weapons. Where in terms of X factors, if you're looking at it from your burnt orange lenses, Tran, what are some of the X factors you're looking at seeing and how Texas can secure victory?
So I think the key to their offense right now against us is the guy you mentioned, the tight end, the physical tight end, Stogner. I've been big on him. I even said that the first game of the season, I told you, I was like, we're going to have problems with him.
Yeah.
I think the person who can probably have the most success on him is Overshown, and that's a little bit dangerous because he's usually the one that we have spying the quarterback, which will leave the middle of our field open, which I don't want to.
Struggled badly with.
Yes, but he's just his size, his length alone is probably the only one that could probably cause some fits for him. So I think if Overshown has a good game in both the run support and also covering Stogner, because they're not going to throw Stogner out there 40 reps. They're not going to put him on 40 different pass plays or anything like that. They'll keep him for blocking as well, because he's a big kid. So if he could help in the run game and not over pursue, because that's the thing, is sometimes he's playing too fast. If he could just chop it down, even if he doesn't make the tackle, if he just slows him down enough for someone else to clean up.
Outside contain. I agree. He did a better job. To Overshown's credit, that's another thing I've noticed on my rewatch. I actually thought he did a better job than he did in the Tech game of playing better, leveraging better angles, I should say, and getting to the ball carrier. He's starting to figure it out. It's going to be he hasn't played that position before, so he's also starting to figure it out and say, all right, if I throttle down but run at this angle, I have a way better chance to get to the ball carrier than trying to chase everything. So he's learning rapidly. I think that's a good call out. I also think too, like when you look at the zone that we're gonna play, we need some of that length to bother some of these guys. Where Overshown maybe carries them upfield a little bit, and we try to sandwich that. One of the issues I've had with our zones is we've allowed too many windows and too much space. Too many guys guarding grass. I always say this about zone. Zone is zone
Get
until
a man still.
right until the man gets in. Like you got to find somebody, right? And match up. So that's been a struggle. I do worry about our zone a little bit. Like there's a positive and a negative to playing it, because the positive is I think there's a lot you can throw at Spencer Rattler that he hasn't necessarily seen. Lincoln Riley will have him prepared. There's going to be times where they go boom, boom, boom down the field. Just already get that in your mind. But there are going to be other times where, and we've seen this already with Spencer Rattler, where he's going to think he sees it, and all of a sudden it's like, or the pick he threw at the end of the Iowa State game, he did not see that safety up top, right? And I know they want to talk about Rambo was getting held, which is valid. Hey, Big 12 refs, it was defensive holding. That doesn't excuse the fact that it was a terrible read because he didn't see the safety.
Still would have picked it off.
Right.
Or
guy still would have.
Yeah.
The guy still. I still think that's an interception. So you have to throw those type of looks to confuse the quarterback. Due to his inexperience, that is something that Texas can take advantage of. That's where I look at my veterans like a Caden Stearns, a Chris Brown, Josh Thompson, all these guys, man. Deshawn Jameson, they've played so much ball. Even Chris Adamora, I consider him a veteran now, just the amount of starts he's had, and he's actually been playing better football than a lot of guys. And I think he's another one that can help with Stogner and some of these diverse weapons that OU has. Now, the beauty of from a Texas perspective is, every year coming in, what OU's mastered is they always were able to get that run game going. They always had that balance. That's what made their throw game so special to me, and all the play action, all the orbit motion they would do off of that, because they could hand the ball off to Trey Sermon or Kennedy Brooks or Rodney Anderson before. And those dudes were averaging, last year they came in the game averaging 9 yards a carry. Tran, this year coming in, that vaunted OU running game is nowhere to be found. This can't be the week it gets going, but that does play into, because you know how that is, right? Like we said this in the TCU preview, and then they ran for 200-something yards.
Yeah.
But they're averaging 3.8 yards a carry. They're having a lot of issues with their offensive line. Quite frankly, they've been getting bullied a little bit, and they've become one-dimensional. And a one-dimensional Lincoln Riley offense, now you're Tech. Now you're just another, that's what's OU's made them so unique from all the other Big 12 teams, is they've had this balanced, dynamic balance of being able to run the football whenever. And they can't do it right now. I don't know if that's because Kennedy Brooks isn't there, or, Ramondre Stevenson. Seth McGowan's a very talented guy who, he'll have some moments. But TJ Pledger doesn't scare me. Major doesn't scare me. Those guys they're not special to me. So we have to make sure they remain one-dimensional. Make as good as talented as Spencer Rattler already is as a freshman, make him have to make all the decisions. Put all the pressure on him. Because last year, what pressure was there on Jalen Hurts? He either got to run or he threw the ball to CeeDee Lamb. That was that's all Jalen Hurts got to do, right? And Lincoln Riley made it so easy for them. So I'm excited to see some of those matchups. What matchups are you excited to see personally in this game? Because I think there's a lot of fun ones to identify.
So I agree with you and Keandre Colburn versus the center.
RJ wanted no part of that one with Creed Humphrey.
Yeah. I think I agree with him though. Like I don't want to see that guy one-on-one with me. That's a beast child who has a motor. I've
10
been high on
tackles
him for
last
a
week.
long
Yeah.
for a long time, and a lot of those tackles weren't all in the trenches. There were some on the sidelines that he ran to the sidelines. So, I definitely want to see him. I want to see him play strong. One of the guys who I think is possibly could be a breakout player for this game, and it could be an X factor for us because he plays defense. Is Deshawn Jameson, but not necessarily for defense because I think he can. He's been relatively quiet this whole year, but every time we've beaten OU, there's always been some special team play, whether it's a punt return, kick return. I go back to Jordan Shipley days, when that turned the game around when he returned that kickoff. To Jay Johnson, the punt where his feet were on fire. That was his celebration. Quandre Diggs had a huge punt that he didn't get the touchdown with, but he got him down to the 2-yard line. What was the last one that we had that we got a touchdown off of a punt? There was one other one.
Off a punt? I don't remember. Somebody can chime in the comments. Though.
Yeah.
You guys are good about that.
He's been a couple plays away from breaking one, and this could be the game. He could also do it on the defensive side. He's been relatively quiet there, and as good as I see Rattler being, I have seen him be a little bit inconsistent as a passer. A couple passes have been behind players. He could benefit from it and just take off because he won't be the defensive back that's caught from behind by offensive linemen. We'll say that.
To that point with Rattler, we got to challenge these receivers. Mm-hmm. Going back to that thing, right? Like last week, Theo Weiss, I was a little disappointed with how he was playing on OU because he had a chance to make a really big play on a ball that Spencer Rattler scrambling and deep downfield. It would have been an amazing throw. He drops it. And so, and I haven't seen that brother step up the way I thought he was going to, and based upon his recruiting prowess, Theo Weiss was a big recruit. So seeing guys, can we keep those type of guys contained from having a big game, right? There's certain guys where you just, as a staff, going in, all right, Stogner's going to get his, Mims is getting to the point where he's going to get his, they already have that chemistry there, but they can't have multiple people popping off is my point. This isn't Hollywood Brown and CeeDee Lamb and Mark Andrews like we used to deal with back in the day. It's not with a run game, mm-hmm. right? And the quarterback that could run. Like that's what we were dealing with just a few years ago, right? So that's not the same crew. But, with us being in a must-win situation, we keep saying every week, oh, we can manage this and we can handle this.
And we got to go out and execute.
We have to execute.
Yeah.
We have to
simple as that.
Right? Every preview video we've done, we identify the areas of opportunity for the team. And these are things that many of you call out, whether it's in the comment section or the messages y'all send us. And hell yeah, I think Texas is going to beat OU this weekend. But they have to, I know what they're capable of. And this is why the whole thing is just the overarching cloud of like Tom Herman's future now. And I hate that, but it's the truth and it's justified. But a big part of that too is Mike Yursich versus Alex Grinch. So let's talk about the offense and then we can wrap. How do we attack this OU defense? I think one of the things we looked at last week, because I thought OU actually was playing the run pretty good until Breece Hall started getting off on them last week. I think our balance is going to be key here, but we also got to leverage size. Some of their smaller DBs, and they're going to play a lot of man coverage. I see opportunities for a lot of guys from our pass catching perspective, Tran.
I do too. I agree. I think those little wrinkles that Yursich throws in, it's imperative. I don't want to get too cute. I don't like those little reverse, double reverse, where it's a RPO pass option with with someone. I don't want that in one of these types of games. I want to. He can out scheme him. I know he can. Their defense is still, I mean, their defensive backs aren't great.
Mm.
I think we can eat. The thing I'm worried about is, hey, is Sam going to get enough time?
That was the problem last year. Straight up.
So the offensive line, I hope that they come pumped, ready to go, ready to hit, not hold. Don't kill drives. Don't kill yourselves. You dealt with the early game blues last week, so you should be used to waking up now, getting ready to play. Don't have another performance like they did, discipline wise.
So I want to actually piggyback off of something you just said about the offensive line last year. They got their ass whooped badly. When you give up 9 sacks, I'm not saying all 9 sacks were on the offensive line, but a lot of them were.
Mm-hmm.
And they got exposed, and it affected us really the rest of the season. The stun issues, we've talked about it several times on this channel. Zach Shackelford getting destroyed, in my opinion, by Neville Gallimore. So there's a lot of guys that, we'll as of now, I don't think Ronnie Perkins is going to get his appeal or whatever from the NCAA to be able to play. But you saw people like Ronnie Perkins and Kenneth Murray and Neville Gallimore and then Parnell Motley on the outside. None of those people outside of possibly Perkins is walking through that door. And yes, I see the potential of a guy like an Isaiah Thomas who had a big play last week against Iowa State, but it is not the same type of even personnel between Isaiah Thomas and Benito, excuse me. Like that, it's not the same crew. Now they're going to try to bring the same heat and present the same challenges. And this is where I wanted to get to. Y'all been blowing me up about Herb Hand. This is Herb Hand's test of his group to show that they've made marked improvement from last year to this year against Grinch. Now, Mike Yursich will do a lot to help him out, to what Tran just said. Quick hitters, all sorts of things, wrinkles that he'll have in there to really expose what Grinch is going to do when they bring a lot of that heat and really, really expose that man coverage, because we actually think we're going to have some opportunities for some big play touchdowns. But in order to do that and to execute against it, our group has to continue to talk. Now, one of the things actually didn't say this, one of the things that was encouraging from the TCU game, despite the penalties, the right side did play better. I think Tom Herman was right, especially Christian Jones. He's starting to get it. There was a play where Christian Jones picked up one guy, passed him off, went picked up the guy on the outside. He looked like an NFL lineman. Like, I'm starting to see, okay, that's why they have the brother in there. Okay. Anytime you see somebody improving like that week over week is a very, very good sign. I think he's more equipped to handle that than the crew we had, some of the folks that were struggling with those things last year. But they can't get beat the same way 2 years in a row, or else I will join the Herb Hand train. I don't want to do that. But that can't be a deterrent on why you can't run offense. So, and they also, we want to come out and send a message. I thought we were so timid coming out last year. You remember last year we came out, we were trying to run the bubble screen. It's like, oh, I don't want to be physical. And it's like, we still got to establish, I hate saying the term establish the run, but you do have to establish the run. I know there's a lot of criticism right now of the staff of, hey, are we getting a little running the ball on first down a little too heavy? I think you have to script it in a manner from you're aggressive on first down, but you also want your RPO to be honest. Your RPO is not honest if you're never, handing the ball off too, right? So regardless of who's in there, because that's when Grinch is going to start playing the tendency game. There's a lot. It's a lot I'm excited to see.
I do want to touch on what you just said about aggressiveness. If we do get an early lead, I want to step on their throats. I want to see a killer instinct. I don't want to see this BS where we're run, punt. We're just trying to play the clock. I don't want to see that. I would like to see a pass on first down. I would like to see a killer instinct from this team. just a different attitude change. So I know that may be asking for much week over week, but this is your rival. This is your turn to they're licking their wounds, but they're going to come out. They want to come out and beat us. They want to come out and beat us. They're not going to feel sorry for us if we're not playing to our best and they beat us. No, I want to beat them down.
So are you saying you were not happy with the coaching staff's decision to run the clock out at the end of the first half of the TCU game?
No, I think I said that in the chat. I hated that. I hated that how you have a Heisman hopeful in college football where it's 55 seconds is an eternity.
Mm-hmm.
The
Clock
way that they stop
first down. Mm-hmm.
I don't like that. It's too conservative. It says you don't trust your offense enough to go put points on the board. Even if we got 3 points on the board, that's huge. It's huge. We're not going for the touchdown anymore. We could just kneel the ball and kick a field goal and win the game at the end. It
plays into the psyche, I
lapse
think,
of judgment by Tom Herman. And I don't want to see that. And I talked about this when we went up and we were up by 3. I texted you beforehand. I said, if we don't go for the throat here, I think we're losing this game. I think I said that.
Yeah.
And we didn't go for the throat.
We were up 29-26.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to see that. If we're up 7, I want to go for 14. If we're up 14, I want to go up 21. There's no lead. I want to win this game, and I want it to make it very one-sided.
So let's end there. What do you think how do you see this game playing? I know what you want.
I know.
But how do you think it's going to play out, and what's your prediction?
I'm going to say 31-38 Texas.
And you have so defensively, you think we're going to be able to keep them around 31, which I'm cool with. If they do that, I think that's a good day for Chris Ash, all things considered, with especially against a Lincoln Riley coach team. I think this game will get in the 40s. I think my score was 48-41, but I think that 7-point gap of a touchdown difference, because we are dealing with a wounded animal with OU that is trying to avoid a 0-3 start, and they're going to throw the kitchen sink at us. But
hey, is anyone bringing up the fact that that Sam Ehlinger before the TCU game was dealing with hand issues?
And he was limited in practice, right?
Mm-hmm. Is anyone bringing up that?
You don't get the pass though anymore.
No, I'm not asking.
I haven't heard
the pass yet.
Right.
I'm just saying that's why I'm saying that I don't know if we'll be able to score 48 points. That's.
I think we're the better. I mean,
on paper, once again.
I mean, but yeah. Offensively, right? Like they struggled with Skylar Thompson, and Deuce Vaughn. Like they couldn't stop those guys, and I'm like, that's not the Mike Yersich. At the same token, though, Tran, to your point, I'm just a survive and advance standpoint at this, because I see these other people who are not as productive and lesser talented have all the success, and then we come in and we don't have any of the same success. So my faith in that regard has dwindled. But it's 2020, survive and advance, just win the football game and move forward. I would like to see them dominant. I would like to see them, to your point about want. But Tom Herman has to win this game for his sake, for the anxiety that we have within the fan base. And that getting that buy-in back, I think that's important for the psyche of the kids, and all that they've been through as a group this summer, and there's no doubt that they're working hard. The manner in which they lost last week and how they kind of rallied together, I thought was beautiful. But I know you were telling me about, hey, Sam Ehlinger's not playing around. He's trying to hold people accountable and trying to step up and say, look, and I told you in the post game, anytime you hear a player talk about attention to detail, frustration levels will grow in the locker room. Kenyatta Watson's already on the port. They will, people are decommitting. That they can only tolerate things for so long, so they got to win. That's the answer to all their problems.
Yep.
Anything else you want to add, my friend, as at the conclusion of our predictions? Make sure you guys drop your predictions below as well.
No, I mean, I'm excited about the game. I'm nervous still about it because this is our season. Every single game is our season. I know before the season I picked 8-2, but I don't want to be the 2 losses the first 3 games of the season. So I definitely want to beat them.
All right. Well, Trent, thank you so much, as always, and we'll be back after the OU game with our reactions, hopefully to a Texas victory. Yep. Guys, make sure you hit that like button below. Make sure you check out the video we did with RJ, and all the support on the channel, all the love y'all have shown our way. We appreciate it. We love doing this stuff for you guys. We learn a lot from you guys. We love the interaction. So keep it going. Smash that like button and continue to push Fanatic Perspective. Guys, Horns always up.